yeah. Okay, over to Jean-Marie.
Hey, my name is Jean, I'm an addict.
Jean.
Okay, I'm going to tell a very short version, just from like the beginning of last year where the main of my problems started, the biggest problems. Okay, beginning last year, I was already about a year and a half clean. I was staying in a facility in Krugersdorp, and well, everything was going well. I was doing what I loved. I had to go back for a second operation on my hip because I had a big car accident in 2005, got a hip replacement. It was fine for about 10 years and then it came loose. And then as I carried on walking with my drugging and stuff before this now, it grinded through my pelvis, my own hip broke my pelvis. Long stories, it was lots of hospitals, lots of weeks in hospital. And so I had to go back for my second operation. When I went back, I went for my annual HIV test and I was positive. I was raped about 6 months before that. I didn't even think, anything of it at the time. But I was fine with that because there's medication, and I was good with that. So after my op, I went back to the facility I was staying at, and I was like really, for those of you who don't know, the ARV is like really physically, it's bad. Like especially the first 2 months, you've got no energy. It's a hectic pill to be on. Plus, still I was recovering from a 7-hour operation with my hip. So yeah, that was quite hectic. But at the time, I was still doing my arts and crafts. I was giving class, doing my beading, my jewelry, everything. Everything was going relatively well. And then the house manager at the time of this place started nitpicking. And long story short, I got quite vindictively and maliciously kicked out of the place, and it really wasn't my fault. And I know addicts always said it, but this time it's really not my fault. So I got kicked out, and I thought, you know what? I've been fighting for about 22 years of my life with this addiction of heroin. Sorry, I can name names, eh? On heroin, I was first heroin and crack, and then I went over from crack to crystal. And I thought, you know what, why am I doing this? Because every time I try and get better and try and make something of myself and do something with my life, then there's always just something that, puts a stick in the wheel, if I can put it like that. So I thought, why, for what? So I went back to the street, I stopped all my medication, antidepressants, antipsychotics, my ARV, everything. So I was on the street in Krugersdorp for about 4 to 6 months, and where my physical well-being really deteriorated very quickly, even to such a point that even the dealers refused to sell to me. They said, I'm going to die, I have to go to hospital. They refused to sell to me. That's how bad it was. At this time, I don't know if you guys can remember, there was quite riots and stuff in Krugersdorp that Kagiso and them were like burning the houses down at the Nigerians, trying to get them out there. And so we were there at that time. But as everything got out of hand, they started beating up the addicts, and it was quite hectic. So me and my brother, we decided now we're fleeing because we were going to die here, they're going to kill us. So we went to Northgate, still on the street. It was Nigerians I met like a couple of years before, and they were willing to help. So we were there. Everything was as good as it could be, like being on the street. At least we were together, we were always together. And let me think quickly, we were there for about 4 months. It was up until I think just in the beginning of May of this year. And then he just fell ill very quickly, but at this point I still wanted to die. I didn't have the balls to kill myself, but I was properly and thoroughly drugging myself just to fall over and stop breathing. But as we all know, no one's that lucky. So he started having problems walking, and by the time he got to me that day, it was hours later and he was paralyzed. So as a good sister, I was looking after him. I hustled for the both of us, food, drugs, cigarettes. We were staying, because it was the rainy season then, we broke into like an electricity box type of thing. So we have a roof over our head at least. So, and he waited there for me. I went out, it was 2-3 days before this. I was standing at the robot, also like begging for money. And this chick with this red hair and tattoos and spikings and piercings and stuff just came, like promptly stopped there at the robot and came walking over with a handbag. And she asked me if I wanted help. I'm like, well, yeah, of course. But this time I was like really thin. I could barely walk. I had this vicious abscess on my hip. It was bad. And I had this brother that I had to look after as well. So, long story short, I just, it's a robot promise, a traffic light promise. It never comes true anyway. So I carried on. So that Sunday, I battled to make money, and I left that morning. I left him there and I said, I'm coming, I'll be here by lunchtime, more or less. So it didn't work out that way. About 5 o'clock, this woman stopped there again, and she said, well, she got help. Am I willing to come? I'm like, there's another one of me. I can't leave my brother. So she's like all excited, come, let's go meet him. So I went to go buy our stock for the day, and she went to go buy us food. At this time, he couldn't eat solid foods either. He was on jelly and custard, basically. And we drove there, stopped there, and I'm like all excited because now I can give my brother the good news, because now we also discussed that we wouldn't survive this winter outside, and now that I can feel how cold, we would have died, both of us. By the time we got there, he was ice cold. He died. He had a seizure because of detoxing, and then he had a heart attack, and then he had multiple organ failure. So God knew what he was doing, because if I had to get there on my own, I would have obviously taken everything I had on me and not be here today. So from where I made the decision of I want to come clean, I didn't have much to say because everything just happened after each other. It was on the 25th of May this year. 26, or that night I had my last fix. 26, well, there was other people that removed me. I went to Krugersdorp the next day, and then I went to Helen Joseph for 2 weeks where I detoxed, and I had like bad ulcers on my legs. I almost lost my feet. Literally, they wanted to amputate, or they could have if it was worse. And it was on the Monday I went in, and I remember they still gave me morphine in the casualties. And do not ask me how. I was weighing 25 kilos at this point. Like, I couldn't walk, I couldn't even keep food down. I was gonna die, So they gave me morphine, and I can remember by the Friday when I surfaced, I'm like, but I haven't detoxed. Nothing. And I mean, everyone knows how bad is zero detox. And I didn't detox, not this little bit. So the lady with the red hair organized came to the hospital, and he filled out all my forms, everything. Nice. 2 weeks later, still baffled about this whole I didn't detox, because I mean, the amount of drugs that I took, I should have felt something, and I didn't. So God spared me that as well, because I think he also knew I wasn't going to make it. So from there I went to a clinic in Randfontein where I was supposed to go. Got there, they said, sorry, we can't look after you, too malnourished. So the lady that took me there, they didn't have any more plans. So on the way back from Randfontein to Krugersdorp, they wanted to drop me off at a shelter, and I thought, you know what, let me just go have another shot, because no, I mean, nothing works out anyway, ever for me. On the way, when it was about a 10-minute drive, this same lady with the red hair phones, and she says no. She knows someone in Linden. It was Gibson at the time. Well, I didn't know who that was, but now I know it's him. He said, no, you'll give me 5 to 7 days for free here. Because I mean, I remember I'm coming from the street. I don't have shoes on my feet. I don't even have clothes to wear. I've got the clothes on my, and it's falling off anyway. So get here. Now she's like telling me, he's like prompting me, you better look healthy. You like stand up so they can, because if they, he said if the nursing staff can't look after me, then I can't stay here. And I'm like trying to. Well, but all is well. But so I came in here, and they said no, it's fun. And I still remember Tabson carrying me up the stairs, because I couldn't. I was too weak. I couldn't get up the stairs on my own. I mean, I just looked at the stairs. I'm like, no, please don't do this to me. So they carried me up the stairs, and for that whole week I was here. The guys in the house was carrying me up and down, because I couldn't. And then just after that, I had to go back to hospital because of my hip. Thank God I did, because the abscess was quite vicious. It went into my bone, and so I got to the hospital. They said, well, they can't do anything much. They have to remove all hardware, like the what I had in. So I'm going to be hipless, but they told me this a day before my operation. So now I'm freaking out. I'm thinking I'm going to have this leg flopping. I'm not going to manage around. I'm like on my own. Cool, God was there again as well. and everything went well. I came out on the other side, and funny enough, so me stopping my ARVs just as a matter of interest. When I got here, I was very weak, and I started, I think, just a week before I went to hospital. I got to hospital, my CD4 count was 1,644, which is excellent. Okay, my viral load was high as well, but for someone in my state and what I've done, and I haven't taken my ARVs for like 10 months, it was great. It's another way God is, you're not going anywhere, I need you here. And that was awesome, and everything just because of that one choice I made. I didn't do much. I mean, I just decided, okay, I want to come clean. I don't want to die anymore. And everything just happened so after each other. Unfortunately, my brother had to die, and it was funny because I wanted to die and he wanted to live. But there's a reason, and you know, he doesn't have pain anymore, and you know, I've made peace with that now. So I'm here now, and for the first time in a very long time, how can I say, I'm at peace. So I'm not worried about where I'm going tomorrow. I don't think he would have brought me up to here just to let me finish here and go back to the street. So I know there's something bigger. I know I'll have a roof over my head. I know I have food to eat. And I'm good with it. And I'm waiting for whatever he throws down. I'll pick it up and I'll work with it. So yeah, that's me, John. Thank you so much.
Wow.